And one, do they know how critical they are? And two, do they know that that criticalness connects the dots to whether or not your business is successful? That's huge. Think about that when you're onboarding these folks, because chances are those positions are the positions that are the higher turnover positions for you. The positions you do all the hiring. I see a couple heads nodding, okay? And yet they are the critical drivers of whether we hit a lot of our metrics.
Think through this session about the key behaviors for every position, not in terms of importance or what you think should be, quote, key positions, because we all have a role to play. So if HR in your organization is, well, are we in compliance? Do we have the right posters hung up? Yeah. Okay, well, we can train a monkey to hang posters. That's not HR, right? HR is about thinking about talent management. Where are we finding good people? How are we holding on to those good people? How are we training the people that we have? How do we drive the corporate results? That's how you start to show that HR is no longer a cost center.
One of our biggest challenges, we've been hearing it for the last decade, is HR needs a seat at the table. And I was looking, from a self-critical standpoint, what am I doing to get to the table? How am I thinking? Am I thinking like a business manager? Am I thinking about my function of HR as being a business function, not unlike sales or R&D or operations or whatever other functions that you have, right? We are a business function.
These drive their value through how they operate, how they drive efficiencies within their organization. And their customers deal with them because of that efficiency. So our executive team has to be willing to look at succession planning and say, okay, what are we doing from a people development standpoint? How are we getting our people ready for their next level of responsibility? How are we making them better in their jobs today? That has to be a fundamental discussion that we're having on a regular basis.
How about if we can start to show how the fact that, great, I can go to the board meetings and say we've got 5% turnover. And that's probably good turnover, right? Because we want some. And most of the people around that table are going to say, great, I want to pat you on the back. But what does that really mean, that 5% turnover? Where are we saving costs in training? Can we document that low turnover has increased production, has increased quality, increased customer satisfaction? Can we get our arms around those things? Because if we can, now we're not a cost center anymore, are we? Now we're as much of the business function as IT and PR and sales and everybody else. So yeah, on one hand I've got reduced HR costs up here, but I should probably also say, and show value, right?
So again, sometimes people leaving it's not a bad thing for those involved. It's how we handle it that can make or break. Because the reality of succession planning is, depending on how frequent our openings are, maybe Jacqueline, in order to develop, has to leave our organization to go get experience elsewhere. And if we've handled that exit smartly, she may want to come back one day and come right back in higher up on the pecking order because she went off elsewhere and got the skills that she needed.
What do we say we're doing? What's actually happening, right? That's a critical one, and that's one that a lot of folks don't often do. They say, oh, well, I've got great procedures and policies in place. Okay, what's our adherence to those? Especially when you're dealing with folks outside of your department who are influencing those processes and those procedures. Because I think one of the biggest image challenges that we have in HR is that we are just sticklers for process. Okay? I'm a Gen Xer. If you know anything about the generations, and I hope you do, Gen Xers don't care about process. We care about results, right? Much to the chagrin of baby boomers who like the process. So again, I'm not advocating we don't cover our tracks, we don't document. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, does the process support the result, right? What result are we trying to get to with the process we're putting in place? And that's why we want to look at that.